Bad Bunny is being accused of snubbing the United States. He's launching a global tour with stops across Europe and Australia and Japan, but he's skipping the United States because he says he's concerned about ICE raids at his concerts. So now in response, DHS advisor Corey Lewandowski says that ICE will pursue immigration enforcement at the game, warning, quote, "There's nowhere you can provide safe haven to people here illegally. We'll find you and deport you."
It started with one headline that shook America. The NFL announcing Bad Bunny as the 2026 Super Bowl halftime performer. Within hours, the internet exploded. Fans called it history. Critics called it a mistake. What should have been a celebration turned into a culture war about identity, patriotism, and who gets to define American. Political figures jumped in fast. Former Trump advisors warned that ICE agents would patrol the Super Bowl. Hashtags like hashtag boycott Super Bowl clashed with hashtag Latino power and hashtag 4 months to learn. Overnight, Bad Bunny went from global superstar to political lightning rod. And still, he stayed silent. But that silence was strategy. While others ranted, he planned. And when he finally appeared on Saturday Night Live, he didn't defend himself. He outsmarted everyone. Calm, sharp, and playful, he mocked the outrage without ever raising his voice. One joke flipped the entire narrative live on national television. That night, the man they called too foreign turned criticism into comedy and tension into triumph. His delivery was simple, his message undeniable. He already won. And what came next? Just one sentence, one moment, turned laughter into history.
What do you guys think about the NFL's decision to name Bad Bunny as the Super Bowl halftime performer, somebody who has not scheduled shows in the U.S. because he says that he's worried that ICE is going to come and arrest his fans?
Yeah, we'll be all over that place. And I can't. We're going to enforce the law. So I think people should not be coming to the Super Bowl unless they're law-abiding Americans who love this country.
When the NFL dropped the announcement, it didn't just trend, it detonated. Within minutes, talk shows lit up, and political figures scrambled to weigh in. Former Trump advisor Corey Lewandowski warned that ICE would patrol the Super Bowl to enforce the law. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem doubled down, claiming immigration agents would be all over that place. What was meant to be a music celebration suddenly sounded like a border raid. Online, the divide was instant. Hashtags like hashtag boycott Super Bowl and hashtag keep it American spread like wildfire, while Latino fans countered with hashtag Latino power and hashtag we belong here. Memes, rants, and heated debates flooded every platform. Bad Bunny's name wasn't just trending, it was sparking a digital war about culture, race, and belonging. Every outlet had a take. Some painted him as a foreign activist. Others called him the voice of a generation. But the man at the center of it all? He stayed quiet. No interviews, no posts, just calm. It wasn't fear, it was focus. He was letting the storm build, waiting for the perfect moment to turn backlash into theater. And when that moment came, it wasn't through a statement or tweet. It came through a stage millions were already watching. He didn't storm in, he glided. Cameras zoomed, fans screamed, and there he was, the man they said didn't belong, owning the spotlight like he built it. Critics had spent weeks calling him too political, too foreign, too bold. On that stage, he turned those words into his first punchline. "I think everyone's happy about it," he said with a sly grin. Even Fox News. Behind him, the screen flashed a montage of conservative anchors stitched into one hilarious line. "Bad Bunny is my favorite musician, and he should be the next president." The crowd exploded. Laughter, shock, disbelief. It was surgical. He didn't insult anyone, didn't shout back. He used humor as a mirror, showing the absurdity of the outrage itself. In that moment, he didn't just win, he redefined the game. No rant, no anger, just control. Every blink, every pause was deliberate. Even his critics couldn't deny it. This was confidence disguised as comedy. And just when people thought it was over, the tone shifted. The music faded, the laughter quieted, and the joke gave way to something deeper. The room fell still. Bad Bunny stepped forward, the smirk fading into something heavier. Then, in perfect Spanish, he spoke. Not performing, but declaring. His words carried pride, pain, and presence. "Latinos," he began, "more than an achievement of mine, this is an achievement for all of us. Our footprints, our contribution, no one can erase that. Even those who didn't understand the language felt it." The crowd rose. The laughter that filled the room moments before turned into emotion. It wasn't just a statement, it was ownership. And then came the line that would echo across social media for months. If you didn't understand what I just said, he teased, you have 4 months to learn. Instantly, the internet ignited. 4 months. To learn became the headline, the meme, the movement. Fans started countdowns, brands joined in, and TikTok filled with people learning Spanish out of pride. What critics called a controversy became a cultural celebration. That's when everyone realized Bad Bunny wasn't reacting to America's outrage. He was rewriting the script. The beauty of that moment wasn't in volume, it was in restraint. Bad Bunny didn't yell, didn't gloat, didn't demand validation. He stood there in total command, letting silence speak louder than applause. Every second felt deliberate, like he knew the weight of what had just happened. Critics were left scrambling for words, and even political commentators who'd mocked him couldn't deny the impact. They called it provocation. Fans called it power. What they were really witnessing was something rare. Cultural dominance disguised as calm. For the first time, the joke wasn't on the artist. It was on the outrage itself. Bad Bunny had flipped the entire script without firing a single shot, and that's what made it revolutionary. He didn't have to fight back because the audience already knew who won. His body language said it all. Relaxed shoulders, that mischievous grin, the confidence of a man who owned the moment. Every headline that tried to frame him as a political problem was suddenly irrelevant. That night, he wasn't just performing. He was teaching a masterclass in control. How to win without arguing, how to turn criticism into currency. And by the time the cameras cut, the world was already replaying every second, searching for the deeper meaning. Mid-monologue, Bad Bunny leaned into the mic and said it with that playful tone only he could pull off. I don't want to say who, but it was Jon Hamm. The audience erupted. The camera swung to the crowd, where Mad Men star Jon Hamm sat with sunglasses and a bucket hat, pretending to hide. Bad Bunny grinned. Actually, that's not Jon Hamm. That's Juan Hammond. The crowd lost it. Laughter shook the room. But beneath the humor was precision. This wasn't a random bit. It was cultural judo again, a way of pulling Hollywood's most American face into his world, under his rules. Hamm wasn't the punchline, he was part of the story. Clips of that moment exploded online. TikTok edits of Hamm dancing at Bad Bunny's concerts racked up millions of views. Memes read, even Don Draper switched to Spanish. Fans called it the Bad Bunny cinematic universe. It was ridiculous and brilliant. He turned a sketch into global satire. Behind the laughter was the genius of strategy. The same crowd that once labeled him too foreign for American TV was now celebrating a joke that couldn't exist without Spanish culture at its core. That's not coincidence. That's dominance wrapped in charm. Every move, every pause, every line that night had purpose. Bad Bunny wasn't improvising, he was conducting. While the internet debated, he was executing one of the smartest image reversals in entertainment history. He knew the outrage would peak, he knew the cameras would roll, and he knew that if he played it right, every critic would end up amplifying his message for free. And it worked. By the next morning, SNL's ratings had broken records. His name topped Google searches, his clips dominated YouTube's trending tab, and Bad Bunny outperformed the entire cast combined. What started as backlash had turned into a coronation. The same media that once questioned his presence was now celebrating his brilliance. He didn't just steal the show, he became the show. Every article, every reaction video, every podcast clip revolved around him. The man they said didn't belong was now the one writing the headlines. Calm, sharp, untouchable. That night proved one thing: this wasn't luck or chaos, it was chess. And Bad Bunny was always 3 moves ahead. While the rest of the world argued about who deserved the spotlight, he quietly reminded everyone that he already owned it. By sunrise, the outrage had vanished, replaced by fascination. The same anchors who mocked him were now quoting him. Clips of his SNL moment flooded TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Number 4 months to learn became more than a meme, it became a movement. Fans posted videos practicing Spanish, creating countdown timers to the Super Bowl, and turning Bad Bunny's phrase into a badge of cultural pride. Brands jumped in too. Apple, Nike, even Netflix posted variations of his line with Puerto Rican flag emojis. For the first time, Latino culture wasn't being included, it was leading. People realized this wasn't a controversy anymore. It was evolution in real time. The conversation had shifted from should he perform to how did he just flip America's narrative in one night? Traditional media didn't know how to react. Some called it a marketing masterclass. Others called it dangerous, like he'd blurred the line between entertainment and rebellion. But for the fans, it was clear Bad Bunny had done what few artists ever manage. He turned criticism into culture and division into unity. And this was only the beginning, because while social media celebrated, something far bigger was already brewing behind the scenes. Something that would redefine the Super Bowl forever. Behind the headlines, behind the viral moments, there was something deeper, a statement disguised as showmanship. For years, Hollywood tried to decide what mainstream looked like. That night, Bad Bunny destroyed the blueprint. He didn't ask to belong, he proved he already did. Insiders started whispering that the upcoming Super Bowl halftime show was about to become the boldest in NFL history. Apple Music's creative team reportedly planned to build the performance around Unity Spanish and English lyrics, blending over visuals of Puerto Rico, New York, and Los Angeles One. Song, one culture. One world, watching. It wasn't just art, it was a declaration. A reminder that representation doesn't need translation. Because the moment Bad Bunny said, "You have 4 months to learn," he wasn't just talking about language. He was talking about understanding about a generation that refuses to apologize for existing. And that's why this story mattered. It wasn't about politics or outrage or even music. It was about power, the power to stand on the biggest stage in the world and make it feel like home. So here we are. The stage is set, the clock is ticking, and the world is watching. What began as backlash has become a cultural countdown. 4 months. Until the Super Bowl? 4 months until the world sees what happens when one artist takes control of his own story? Bad Bunny didn't argue. He didn't fight. He transformed the narrative through precision, humor, and confidence that can't be faked. Every joke, every pause, every word built toward this moment, the one where a Puerto Rican kid who once sold CDs on the street now commands the most watched stage on earth. When he said, "You have 4 months to learn," it wasn't a challenge, it was an invitation. An invitation for the world to catch up, to listen to see beyond borders and languages. Because this time, the halftime show isn't just a performance, it's history in motion. And when that spotlight hits him on game night, it won't just be Bad Bunny performing, it'll be an entire culture standing beside him. A message to everyone who ever said, "You don't belong, watch us now." Because this time the world won't just be watching the Super Bowl, it'll be watching the shift of power live.